Welcome to the Preeminence Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Peters, founder of Ascend. Be sure to grab your ultimate guide to preeminence at preeminence.tv. Today we're talking about treat yourself to excellence. So tune in, listen up, and get ready to take a focused action on your mission, message, and presence and create accelerated results toward preeminence right now. Back in early 2005, I was broke. I was in a lot of debt, and I became a super cheapskate. I would save every penny I made. I wouldn't spend any money on anything or anybody. It didn't matter if it was birthdays or Christmas. I would just try to figure out a cheap way around it or have an excuse. I know that sounds really bad. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I figured spending got me into this mess. I shouldn't spend any money. It became this vicious cycle of status quo and get-by mentality. How small can I live? Oh, these small houses. I wonder if I can make one smaller. What can I substitute free for, something that I would normally have to pay? Now, if I would have just put as much time and thought and effort into creating value, I would have possibly gotten out of that dim realm very fast. So my favorite band at the time was Coldplay, and they announced their tour, and they'd actually be stopping by at Alpine Valley, not too far from my home. I looked at the tickets and I considered them way too expensive for me. Why would I go to a concert when I could get a live CD a few months or a year later when it came out? But something happened. I was with a friend and they told me I should go because if I didn't, I knew I'd miss out. I would say, oh, I could have gone to that concert back in the day, right? They came through and I didn't go. It was my one chance. As a matter of fact, I went online to buy tickets. I chose, it's like, you know what, I'm going to go to this. So I looked for the cheapest tickets they had. And as I was looking at the cheap tickets, I saw that they had these other ones that were, more expensive and closer to the front. As a matter of fact, I found these tickets that were in what they called the pit. So I paid $300 a ticket and we went. And when I got to the venue, we showed them our tickets, the usher our tickets, and he had us follow them. Like normally they just point to people where to go. And this guy's like, oh, you come with me. I was wondering why there were no seat numbers on our tickets. And I figured, well, maybe let's give us seat numbers later. And then we got to the section and literally it was the front and center. And I had my hand on the stage. I mean, it gave me shivers when they kept on getting us closer and closer and closer. And then they opened up this area. There maybe was like a dozen other people there because we got early. And I was literally standing right in the front of the stage, right where the X's were on the stage, right where the microphones were. There was no comparison between a live CD on the best stereo I could ever buy and being in front of the crowd of thousands and thousands of fans at the foot of the stage with musicians standing right over me. I felt such a rush from the experience. I realized this is the kind of experience I wanted to have. This is how to experience a band, a performance. It's not on a CD. So I went on a kick of seeing my favorite artists over the next few years. I would take the one seat left at the edge of the stage where I could feel the passion of Sting and Seal and Rufus Wainwright and go to shows like the Rock of Ages and get right in there, feel the spit and their sweat on my face and hear the crowd behind me and feel the hair on my neck raise as the songs be played. Now, I don't know where you are financially. Even if you were to send me your website and your social media presence, I still can't get an accurate reading of where you are financially. We can mask that stuff so easily. We can look like $1 million when we're trying to still figure things out. We can come up with a website when we just have an idea and it looks like we've been there for years. There's a lot of fake stuff you can do online. But what I want you to think about is your environment and the standards which you're willing to accept. Think about raising your standards and thinking about raising your standards more often. So when I was broke on my entrepreneurial journey, I would stay at home. And if you're like me, you work at home sometimes, you can go a little stir crazy. So I decided to get out and go to local coffee shop, go to Starbucks or something. And I did that a few times and it just was kind of like blah. There's a lot of people in there, broke people buy a coffee for $3 and sit there for 2, 3, 4 hours. And, it just wasn't my vibe. And then I visited a Hyatt Regency downtown Sarasota where I moved to. The day I visited, the sun was shining through the 2-story windows. The space was bright and calm. There was a classical guitar playing over the sound system. There was quietly falling water. They had a waterfall. So I naively went and talked to people at the front desk, and I said, "May I sit in the atrium here if I buy something at the bar? Is that okay?" And they said, "Absolutely. You're welcome to enjoy the lobby as long as you like." So I went to the bar and I bought a lemonade and sat at the desk in this small nook they called the library. They had all these like art books and stuff in this small nook. And there was like a glass wall that with a waterfall behind me. So I could hear the waterfall just right behind me here. And the books, and it was just in this nook. So I cracked open my MacBook Pro and began working. I was there for 2 hours, and I found that if I was adding to the ambience instead of taking away from it, I was welcome there. I was dressed nicely. I was quiet. I was buying drinks from the bar. I could stay as long as I wanted. They didn't care. So if I was ordering, they're happy. And if you don't know this, many hotels rely on the bar and catering for their survival. So I got to know the staff, and I frequently went to that resort and other resorts. They're open to us. It didn't cost me that much. And I beat being alone at my home or going to a local Starbucks. I was far more creative. My energy was up, and I was writing from a level of my surroundings. I was writing from excellence. It was reflected in how I was writing. It was reflected on what I was writing. So I want you to think about that. T. Harv Eker says, "I'd rather rent a yacht for an hour than a canoe for a weekend." The idea is to have more experiences with excellence at any budget. Many times your proximity to excellence brings out the best in you. So your action step on your journey up the path to preeminence today is to experience excellence today. That could be having a fabulous lunch from one of the best spots in town, test driving a car of your goals. I didn't say dreams, I said goals. Make sure you make them a goal. Going through model homes in neighborhoods that are far out of your current financial comfort zone right now. Taking your significant other to a concert and pay for the VIP or front row experience, or hiring a premier service where you would normally be cheap. If it's going to be your marketing or videos, you get videos from the guy down the street, pay him a couple bucks, or do you want the best? You know right now, if you're not paying for the best, you're getting a substandard result. And you need to think about the substandard results you're allowing in your life all the way up to this point. How much longer do you want to keep doing that? Let me ask you a question. Do you want to live a substandard life? Do you want to leave a substandard legacy? So change some things up. So I want to leave you with this. Experiencing excellence doesn't need to cost you tens of thousands of dollars, but not experiencing it will. I'll talk with you tomorrow. This daily podcast is all about you becoming the preeminent voice in your marketplace. So take the consistent and necessary action each and every day on what you've learned over the last few minutes. When, not if, when you're ready to take your business, your organization, your name, your brand, and your commitment to the level of preeminence, head on over to preeminence.tv where you can download your own copy of The Ultimate Guide to Preeminence, enroll in the Elevation program, and join us on one of our next live events. If you're not subscribed, simply visit iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play right now and click subscribe. Until tomorrow, make today and each and every day count towards creating preeminence in your space and a legacy that matters.